And racing in the opening division of the Tattersalls National Hunt and IRE Wel Pallets 4yo Geldings Maiden, they head away. Clint Modric is going to be prominent. In turn being chased in second by IRE Mate, and they in turn are being followed next up by Passing Pleasure. Then the inside then races Gaelic Pride, and they in turn are being tracked by Mount Rivers, who in turn has been followed by Flying Without Wings. Meet Me at the Sea comes next, and they in turn are being followed by A Great Excuse. Last of all is He Can't Dance, as they swing the bend left-handed and begin to make the downhill run on their way into the back straight towards fences 1, 2 and 3. And out front it is Clint Modric, one of 7 newcomers in the lineup under Bertie Finn, who has the advantage, being chased in second by IRE Mate, Brian Dunleavy. They in turn are being tracked towards the outside by Passing Pleasure and James Welsh, who in turn has been followed by Mount Rivers and Jamie Scallon. Next up and behind these then races Flying Without Wings and Josh Berry, who in turn has been followed by Gaelic Pride and Jack Hendrick. A Decent Excuse and Luke Murphy comes next, being followed by the next one racing, which is He Can't Dance and Rob James, and last of all is Meet Me by the Sea and Shane O'Rourke. Heading on their way out over fence number 2, and up front as they do so it is Clint Modric with the advantage, being chased in second by the purple colours of IRE Mate, and they in turn are being followed by Passing Pleasure. With them behind these then next up races Flying Without Wings, and down the inside races Gaelic Pride, who in turn has been tracked by Mount Rivers. Further back in behind this leading group to find the next one racing as they swing the bend, which is He Can't Dance. On the outside is the grey jacket of A Great Excuse, and last of all is Meet Me by the Sea. As they swing the bend and begin to race downhill slightly into the home straight on their way towards the next one they'll be jumping, which is number 4, and out front showing the way it is Clint Modric with the advantage, being chased in second by Passing Pleasure and then IRE Mate, and they in turn have been followed further back by Flying Without Wings. With next up in behind these races Gaelic Pride, and then comes Mount Rivers, and further back to find A Great Excuse, and then comes He Can't Dance, and then last of all is Meet Me by the Sea. Heading on their way towards fence number 5, and up front Clint Modric takes off with the advantage, being followed out over in second by Passing Pleasure, and they in turn have been followed next up by IRE Mate, who in turn has been tracked by the orange jacket of Mount Rivers out wide. And behind these then races the red jacket of Flying Without Wings. He Can't Dance begins to take closer order under Rob James in the blue towards the outside, and has almost come through the lead now. So new leader, He Can't Dance, down the outside of Clint Modric, and they in turn have been followed by Passing Pleasure. Next up and behind these then races IRE Mate, who in turn has been followed by Mount Rivers, and then Flying Without Wings and Gaelic Pride. And next up and behind these comes A Great Excuse as they make their way on towards fence number 6. The first of 3 down along the back straight. And up front, the grey with the fractional advantage, He Can't Dance, being chased in second by Clint Modric, and they in turn are being followed by a line of 3. Down the inside in purple races IRE Mate, Passing Pleasure between them, and out wider to find Mount Rivers, who in turn has been tracked by A Great Excuse and Gaelic Pride, orange jacket down the inside. Red jacket of Flying Without Wings comes next, and last of all is Meet Me by the Sea in white. As they make their way out over that one and race on towards the next fence, number 8, last of 3 in the back straight, Clint Modric comes to it under Bertie Finn over in front with the advantage, being chased down the outer by He Can't Dance and Rob James, and they in turn are being followed next up in the field by the purple jacket of IRE Mate and Brian Dunleavy, who in turn has been followed by Passing Pleasure and James Welsh. Mount Rivers and Jamie Scallon is towards the outside, further back in behind these to find the orange jacket down the inner of Gaelic Pride and Jack Hendrick, with A Great Excuse and Luke Murphy who come next. They in turn are being followed by Flying Without Wings and Josh Berry, and last of all is Meet Me by the Sea and Shane O'Rourke. Straightening on up, racing on towards the fence that will be their second last in a complete circuit's time. And as they come to it now, over in front, Clint Modric, He Can't Dance, blue jacket out wide. They in turn are being chased by IRE Mate, and then comes Passing Pleasure, and just in behind these as they get a bit tight for room there. Coming up this straight, they're in turn being followed then by Mount Rivers, who in turn has been tracked next up by A Great Excuse. In behind A Great Excuse then races Gaelic Pride, and towards the back of the field still at this point is Meet Me by the Sea and dropping out to be the overback marker and being the longest flying without wings, who's being eased to the rear of the field. Making their way out in their final circuit, they've still got 5 more fences left to jump and just under a mile left to race. And it's Clint Modric from He Can't Dance up on the outside who made that move to take closer order circuit a go. They in turn are being chased by the purple jacket of I Ain't Your Mate, who in turn has been followed by Plasting Pleasure. Mount Rivers comes next, and they in turn are being followed by the next one racing, which is A Great Excuse. And behind A Great Excuse then races Gaelic Pride, and then comes Meet Me by the Sea, pulling up before going out in the final circuit was Flying Without Wings. As they climb out over the 5th last, going on there by about a length was He Can't Dance from Clint Modric in second, who made a slight mistake at that fence. They in turn are being followed further back by I Ain't Your Mate, and then comes in behind Mount Rivers with Gaelic Pride who's next, and they in turn are being followed by Plashing Pleasure, who's lost a number of positions. A Great Excuse is next, and they in turn are being followed by along Meet Me by the Sea. Racing now to come on out over the 3rd last fence, and over in front Clint Modric has regained the advantage from towards the outside He Can't Dance, and they in turn are being followed by a line of 3. Down the inside I Ain't Your Mate, who in turn has been chased by Mount Rivers, and then comes A Great Excuse. They in turn have been followed by running on Meet Me by the Sea, who in turn is going away from Plashing Pleasure, and Gaelic Pride has dropped right out. Straightening on up, 2 fences left to jump in the opening division of the Tattersalls National Hunt and IRE Wel Pallets 4yo Geldings Maiden. And as they come on now towards their 2nd last fence, it is He Can't Dance who's going to take off with the advantage, being chased towards the outside in second by I Ain't Your Mate, and then in behind these then races Meet Me by the Sea, and they in turn have been followed by Clint Modric, who's weakened. But as the race now between their final 2 fences, He Can't Dance for Rob James has got the advantage, been chased hard in second by Meet Me by the Sea as they come towards the final fence. He Can't Dance with the advantage at 3 parts of a length. Meet Me by the Sea is trying to rally close home, but as they go inside the closing stages, He Can't Dance, a winner for Rob James at his local track. Back in second is Meet Me by the Sea, and they in turn are being followed in by I Ain't Your Mate, and further back to Clint Modric, tight for the next spot between Mount Rivers and A Great Excuse. And pulling up before the final fence was Passing Pleasure.